Hey everyone, Micah from Movie Maker Magazine here. Today I got a chance to talk to some of the filmmakers from Indeed's Rising Voices program. I'm gonna put a link to all the short films in the description below. I really encourage you guys to watch them because they're all really great, and I hope you enjoy. So day one, you guys win this competition. What is the first difference you guys feel, like whether it's in pre-production or post-production? Like, what is the biggest difference you feel once you start making the film?
Oh my gosh, access. Like you get to work with some of the best in the industry. Now, Quincy and I know lots of great people and lots of great collaborators to work with, but they're expensive. And sometimes we can't always get them to say yes because they're like, how many days? How much money? And we're like, yeah, and they're like, I would, but that's a little bit below my pay grade. So the first thing that was really great was just to be able to go after who you wanted. I was
hmm
just like, oh my gosh, I can go after whoever I want. And that is, I just said in that a long time. I was like, ooh, I could go here, I could go here. And that alone, just the access to great talent and even our actors, we Quincy have been really good at finding really raw talent in our other stuff. They've been great too. And but this was like kind of like the sky's the limit. We ended up sort of breaking, and one of our actors is sort of established and one is brand new. And I still sort of went back to my old, we went back to our old habits of like breaking new talent, even though we had access to lots of other talent. And so we ended up kind of mixing the bag up. We got somebody established and we got somebody new. But the fact that we could look anywhere, it was just amazing. And then your creativity didn't have to be stifled by the budget. You could also press the creative limit to what you could do because there's all this money. I
Or
was like,
so,
what?
or so we believed.
So we
Or
believe,
so we
yes.
believed, because I can say that although we've produced and directed things for under $10,000 or under $5,000, and you think all of a sudden you have $100,000 and you think, oh my gosh, the sky's the limit. It is not, because
True.
that money, when you're paying people what they're worth and their value, it goes fast. So it's not $100,000 for favors. It's $100,000 to pay people at least a base pay that is acceptable and not like cutting corners. So that was incredible to be able to pay people, like Deondray said, like at a point you exhaust your favors, and we've been making films on favor, on love and favor for so many years. And we've broken, like he said, we've broken in so many talent, not only in front of the camera but behind the camera. A lot of our peeps who worked with us and helped us create stuff in the past, they're now union. They're now they're now like gainfully employed. They've moved on, which is amazing, but they're no longer available to us. We moved to Atlanta in 2019, and so we're not connected to the community here, the filmmaking community that we have 20 plus years of relationship with back in California. And so it was even more difficult, I felt, here, because we don't have folks that we can pull favors from. We don't have those relationships, and we definitely couldn't have our people fly in from California during COVID, which was a whole nother set of circumstances. So yeah, definitely it was amazing to be able to pay people to find the local talent that we could have, we could actually pay them. We don't have to ask them to, rob, steal, and cheat their time and their talent for us. So that was good. And when you can pay people, they come to do the job, right? So I always say, me as an artist, as a filmmaker, when I volunteer or if I take a job that is like less than what my rate should be, I'm taking it, and so I'm going to give you 150% of me. Not everybody has that, believes that. So in the past, sometimes you get people who take the job. It's not the rate that they know they're worth, but sometimes they're not as dedicated to your project as you are, and so you can't really get the best out of everybody when you can't pay them. So being able to pay people like, look, this is the rate, it's a fair rate, you agreed to it, come and do your best work. So you get less of the folks who won't show up, who, will, pull some craziness in the middle of your shoot, which has happened before. So that felt great, to feel confident that we had dedicated, paid people that we didn't have to really ask them to, bend over backwards for this project. So yeah, that felt really good.
I agree 100% on all of that. Particularly just people work below their rates, like Shakira Barrera, who I've wanted to work with since forever, and like we've been in touch loosely, and I was like, I'm not gonna bring you on whatever project I do. And so it's a great testament to, like, the prestige of the program, the sort of faith that people had in us. It felt like, oh, people feel like they're getting something out of this too. And as my producers too, who I'm really close with, they were like, oh, this is a fellowship for us too. Like, we're learning so much, we're growing so much. So I think just having the experience in general, so it's so magical, really, to have an idea, and then 2 months later it's realized, like, how many times has that happened? I've thought about things for years and then made them. So yeah, it felt amazing to see something through.
Yeah, how quickly were you guys like from winning to production?
Oh gosh, wasn't it like, didn't we like go into production before we won? That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
it was so
a
quick.
Friday. They were cruel. They did this thing. They did this thing to you where they were like, Gabriela, you're one of 3 people fighting for the last 2 spots on the fellowship. We're gonna have a final interview with you on Saturday. I'm like sweating from here to here. And then I go up and they're like, oh, you got in. And I was like, oh my God, amazing. On Monday, we have an onboarding meeting. And then like Nina shows up and everyone's there. Everyone's like, oh yeah, so we're shooting in April. That was March 15th. I remember.
What?
That is it. That is exactly what happened. And they did that to all of us. The same little
uprooted
trick.
our lives in the best way.
The
That's
best way.
crazy though. I mean, that's got to be something like Hollywood-ish, right? Because they're like, once you got it, you got to go, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, like 15 days basically, or pre-production, maybe.
No.
It was
I had
more.
a little bit. I had like 3 weeks because I
Oh, wow.
I shot. We actually shot back to back, right? Like we were
Yes.
one of the first.
We were the first.
Some people had like a month. Some people had longer, but some projects could go. I mean, I don't know how we did it. I look back at my project and it was so ambitious. There's some shorts that are like amazing, but they're like obviously like 2 people like chill. I was like, I don't know how I did it.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And then they had to approve like all of your folks. So I was like, oh my gosh, we had like, and like a lot of the people that we sent, they were like, no. It was like, oh my gosh, we only have so many days left. Like they were like, nope.
That was incredible though. I felt like this was the best. You know why this was a great fellowship? Sometimes some of these other fellowships say, take the money, do whatever you want, and then you can do, and sorry for my language, all the illegal stuff that you want to do, right? Like you can steal all the shots, do all the free things. Do you, boo? But this felt like working for a studio. And I think that's it. We had EPs, we had like the bigger people telling us things, and they were all supportive and they wanted to see our vision through, but it was working for a studio. And I think at this stage of my career, and I'm sure yours too, that's amazing because we're getting trained to like feedback from studios. Like this is great. This is like a grad school,
Yeah, that's what it felt like. I was so you know, like it was crazy, but then I'm so happy that it happened the way that it did, because I would never have pushed myself as hard. Like
Right.
they demanded the best from us. They were like, you know, I know that your little friend from so and so is a great whatever, but you need quality. You know, you don't want to settle, you know, on just because it's a friend who will do it. You want the best. And so they really kind of, you know, curated every single person we brought onto the project, and it just got better and better and better. And then the shooting process and the post process, I was like, oh my gosh, just before this, it was just me and Quincy. I got to the point in the program where I was like, hey, what y'all think about this? Like, because I trusted them so much. Like, listen, in independent filmmaking, the first thing you do when you get notes is like, what? You know, you're like, I don't think so. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just relent and let me try it. Let me try the note. Let me try the suggestion. And when I did, I was like, oh my gosh, I would have never come up with that. I would have never thought that would have done that much to the piece. And so I got to the point where at first I was like, no, no, no. And then I was like, hey, so I'm thinking, do you think I should put this here or there? You know, was that I started to have that kind of faith, and I started to realize when you're working collaboratively in a system like that with people who really kind of are really looking out for you and the best of your project, best for your project, it just gets better. And I started to love the collaborative experience. I was like, this is really great. And I didn't catch all of the, you know, mistakes in the shots. I didn't always catch, you know, some plot points that were kind of conflicting with each other. I didn't always see that. And they would be like, hey, do you think this? And I was like, you know what? I never saw that before. Thank you. Because I was gonna let it fly. I didn't even see certain things. So it was just I love the collaborative process. And like Gabriela said, the studio system kind of environment was, wow, it was incredible.
It was definitely like I would say like a graduation. And I think of one of my producer friends years ago had said something to me about like the fine balance between art and commerce. And so we have these two different worlds where, you know, there's indie filmmaking, which is usually purely art. It's purely art. You know, it's the artist's vision. It's what they want. It's what you do. You write it, you produce it, you direct it, you edit it, you color correct it, you sound mix it. It's yours through and through from beginning to start. And sometimes, you know, and then there's the business of filmmaking, the commerce side, you know, television and big budget features and you know, streaming and the whole nine. And so you have to ask yourself, okay, where do I see my career? And so as directors, you know, I want to make money doing the things that I love and telling the stories that I love. I can always tell the stories that I love without making any money, and I don't have to answer to anyone to do that. But I want to be able to do both. And so this experience gave us that opportunity, or to graduate us as independent filmmakers, to learn the studio system and how it works to be collaborative, because ultimately filmmaking is collaborative. And it's not as collaborative sometimes when you're purely indie, because you have no one to answer to. I also remember we went, we had a woman who worked for ABC, ABC Disney. I think her name is DMA. And what was it that she said? She said, indie filmmakers typically don't direct other people's work. And she said what they look for when they're looking for directors for their shows and their projects is, can you execute someone else's vision? And so that was not an experience that we've ever had, because we typically always direct what we write, what we produce, and we only have to answer to ourselves. And the other thing is, when you're looking at growth as a filmmaker, because the goal as an artist is to continue to grow in your craft, when you don't have those outside forces to help chisel away some of the the not so healthy stuff and to help you grow, then you kind of find yourself plateauing. And so this opportunity, like it provided those challenges that we need to grow, to grow as filmmakers. Those no's were very constructive no's. Those other sets of eyes gave us perspectives that we just didn't have on our own. And so I just really felt coming out of the program so much growth and so much stronger as a filmmaker. So I love the process. And being a Virgo, as you, Micah, as you, Gabriela, sometimes that's hard to let other people kind of, tell you what they think is best.
That is definitely like
Yes.
one thing I learned as like I started to get a real crew. That I was like, oh, I can't do everything.
You
Like
can't.
I'm just like I've always like if something went wrong, I was like, all right, let's cut that and go to the air. And they're like, no, we'll just figure it out. Like
Right,
I'm like,
right.
oh, okay, we can do that. Like I don't have to just figure out a whole
Yeah.
new thing to do.
Wait, you know what you're doing better than I know what I'm doing because that's your job?
Yeah, exactly. What is something that you guys will take from this experience into your next project?
I think the structure that the executive producers gave us to work by the book is something I want to carry on. I feel like now that I've set the standard, I want to work like that, whatever budget I have, I want to work like that. And I don't want to undermine my work. Obviously we're still emerging and all these things, but I think this is a good wave to ride, to try and be like, hey, we got this, we're ready. This is how I like to work. So I'm really excited about that.
I think I want to stop working to get it done. That's how I used to work in indie. I want to stop working just to get it done. I want to do it well. And I think I learned in this program to not settle. Always strive for the best. It shouldn't always be about getting it in the can. I mean, that's part of it, but that used to be the only thing that we were after, is get it in the can. I mean, of course, we're trying to make it good, of course. But like when push comes to shove and the budgets are flimsy, and then you just start making concessions that you wouldn't ordinarily make. Well, I don't want to do that anymore. I see what happens when you kind of push yourself to go for the best. And so, yeah.
I would say for me, impact doesn't always require explosion. Sometimes less is more. So I feel like with this, when we received $100,000, we thought, oh my gosh, we need to do something big, like, because we really need to make a splash. Like it's $100,000. We got to have helicopters. We got to have cartoon. You're thinking to be seen or to have impact that you have to be big. And we were challenged to do the opposite, to take this budget and to tell a small, impactful story. And I think that that's the effect that the film has actually had. And to see, because we were not sure that was going to come across. And it is a small story. And so sometimes to have the impact that you would like to have, it doesn't require all the flash that you think that it does. And so I think I will take that moving forward. Just trust your story.
Well, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time, and I really hope this opens some amazing doors for you guys in the future. Stay in touch, and thank you so much for all your time and advice and experience.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Micah.
Just let them know we're available for hire.
I will let everyone know. Oh my God.
We're all available for hire.
I'll put it in the bottom of the article and be like, all of them are available for hire. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Micah.
Thanks, Micah.
Thank you.